Welcome. We are late, but we finally
What's
are
up?
here. It's the day before the fourth test match, the most awaited Boxing Day test match. What uh what a test match is going to be at. You told me around 200,000 people are going to show up,
Yeah.
which is a lot, and there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to discuss. Shabash. It's good to see a lot of you guys here. First of all, Merry Christmas for those of you guys who celebrate Christmas. It's nice that you guys have joined us regardless. Hi, Vasu. It's been a while. Hi, Piyush. What's up? What is up is that there's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot
Yeah.
of squad prediction and there's a lot of
A lot of changes
yeah,
in
a
the
lot of
squad.
decisions that if it
Yeah.
comes to play tomorrow will be very, very interesting.
Hmm.
Hi Piyush, hi Mickey, hi Vasu, hey lads, hey, what's up? Vishwanath, hello, Harsh, hi. The match might as well start before these two join. We took that a little personally.
Not at all.
Yeah.
We were late because we wanted to see more funny comments.
Maybe Srishant, Vinay, hi. There's a lot to talk about for those of you guys joining us for the first time, if not for the 100th time. But for those of you guys joining us, we have segments in our life, so it's not just us talking to you guys or us talking amongst ourselves. We have segments where we are going to talk about different scenarios of how the Indian team is going to be if a particular decision is going to take place. Now, because the test match is going to take place in MCG tomorrow, we will talk a bit of historical data at MCG, what Australia has done at MCG,
Yeah.
and what India needs to do, and something we have already made a video on last week, I think.
Yeah.
But it's always nice to go over that. Now, yeah, Merry Christmas. Is there any chance for Prasid Krishna? We'll talk about all of that. We also, of course, have a segment where we take questions from you guys and have a conversation with you guys. So that's always there. Cricket with Mr. Costume. Now, because it's Christmas, this is not a giveaway. Oh, I'm sorry about that. It's not a giveaway. But I just wanted to ask you. I picked up this book today. A very dear friend of mine gave me this book, Indian Cricket Then and Now. I just wanted to know if any of you guys, just to start on a lighter note, if any of you guys have read this book. The foreword is also written by Rahul Dravid. It's a pretty interesting book. We haven't read it. I just got it today. I just wanted to ask if you guys have read this book.
Yeah.
If you guys have any cricket book recommendations or if you want any cricket book recommendations, we can give you that. We read a lot of cricket books and
Yeah.
cricket related books.
Yeah.
But yes, let's move on. Like Vasudevan said, let's get this rolling. Boxing Day test, Boxing Day at MCG. Pratap, take it away.
Cool. So Boxing Day is going to happen at MCG. Always has happened at MCG. It's going to be a crucial fixture. 4th test match. The series leveled at 1-1. Now, just to read out what it's going to be like, Australia have lost their last 2 Boxing Day test matches to India in the last since 2018. Australia has played 6 test matches at Melbourne, and they've won most of them. They've won all 4 that they've played. Only the 2 losses that have come against India. So happy hunting ground for the Indian team, and they'll hope to be doing the same come this test match. What else have we got? India have beaten. Oh yeah, also another thing. This is a pace-friendly venue. In fact, 81.5% of the wickets here have been taken by the Pacers. And Australia's bowling lineup here is something that we'll also talk about, because Scott Boland here has got the famous 6 for 7, which is crazy stuff, honestly. And coming to the average scores, first innings, the average score has been 300. Now, this is, of course, only in the last 6 test matches that has happened since 2018. Second innings, that score dips to 289, and third and fourth inning, it really dips to 168 and 202. So by no means is it going to be an easy pitch to bat on. It's generally favored the fast bowlers, but there are also rumors that India will play 2 spinners. Again, something that we will get into. But all in all, I think MCG for India should be a more optimistic place to go, especially considering the series is at 1-1. So yeah, that's it.
That is MCG as a general thing.
Yeah.
Australia and MCG. Now, one of you guys said that you've read the book, which is very, very interesting. We will, if we can talk about the book, we will talk about that in the middle. But some of you guys also told us to talk about Constars, and we will do that. So there are a couple of changes in the Australian side. Josh Hazelwood, of course, is out of the series, which means Scott Boland is in the squad. Like Pratap said, he has the famous 6 for 7. Scott Boland, in fact, I mean, averages, I want to say between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact number, but somewhere around there. He's very lethal. But the best bowler at MCG has been Pat Cummins, and he's been lethal at at MCG. And so Pat Cummins and Scott Boland is, of course, something to watch out for. Travis Head is deemed to be fit. He's part of the squad, so he will, of course, be a headache, continue to be a headache for us, for the Indian team. Interestingly, so let's talk about Sam Constas. He did play that India A versus Australia A tour game. He played both the matches, averaged about 30. Not the most impressive averages.
Not a
The
century.
his highest score is 73 actually.
73.
Yeah. And he hasn't played a lot of first class cricket. He's played 11 first class games with an average of 42. For a 19-year-old, that's...
It's a good start.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah.
It's not Yashasvi Jaiswal.
That's true. Yeah.
That's true, but it is very impressive for a 19-year-old. And he's given I want to say a couple of interviews where he talks about he's not going to walk in with pressure. He's going to bat with intent. He's not scared of Bumrah and stuff. Again, as a 19-year-old, I appreciate that a lot. If you're walking in with arrogance and attitude, great. Because if you're not going to do that in the test setup against one of the best bowlers in the squad, I mean, best bowlers in the world, not in the squad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking in with nervousness, then there is a real problem. So it will be interesting to see how he goes about his batting. Tomorrow will tell us if Australia bat. But if Sam Constas does open, which he is more likely to open, it'll be very, very interesting to see the intent in which he goes about his play. Because of all the talks, and the fact that McSweeney was dropped mid-series.
Yeah.
Just a week before the squad was announced, he was talking about how it's been his dream to play the Boxing Day test. Couple of days later, he's dropped from the squad. So that was
Pretty harsh.
Yeah, that was very harsh. We could also talk about that, but that's a lot of talk. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are talking about a lot of things. Vasudevan. Right, but yeah, that's Australia at MCG. Well, let's talk about India at MCG.
Cool. So obviously, India here, one thing to note is that the first innings lead is going to be extremely crucial.
Yes.
That holds true for any test match, to be honest. But especially at the MCG, because all of the teams that have won at the MCG in the last 6 years, they've all got first innings leads. And they've got big first innings leads at that. We've also done a video on this, so check it out. But yeah, simply, India's first innings has been a big issue. Apart from KL Rahul, who's averaged 49 in first innings in this series, everyone else has extremely struggled. In fact, all of their averages are in single digits, barring Gill, who averages 16.
Right.
Nothing too impressive there either. And so, if India want to win this test match, irrespective of whether they come to bat first or bat second, that first innings has to have some substance. The top order needs to step up. And yeah, now it's going to be interesting because there's going to be a lot of shuffling.
I mean, the fact that we always talk about how India can fight back, I think there comes a time where we cannot. And we can't always be on the back foot after the first inning. So it'll be very, very important for us to, like you said, to bat well in the first innings. And to make sure even if we crumble, because our batters are not in the best of forms. So even if we crumble, we're not trailing by 100 or 150 and the margins are close to at least give us a fight. And yes, there's been a lot of talk about a lot of changes and shuffling. So here we are with a couple of scenarios. We're not saying it will happen, it might happen, possibly should happen. But yeah, a couple of scenarios and how things will go about. If, let's go to scenario one. If Rohit Sharma does open and KL Rahul bats at number 3 and Shubman Gill bats at number 5 or number 6, there's a lot of talk about this happening. And for whatever reason, there are almost confirmed reports that Rohit Sharma will open with Yashasvi Jaiswal, which is an interesting scenario if you think about it. Because Rohit Sharma he's scored the most runs for the Indian team in the test squad since 2019. We can't take that away from him with an average of 40 plus. He's been the most successful opener for the Indian team since 2019. But KL Rahul was given the chance to open. He performed well. In the second test match when Rohit Sharma came back, he made this whole sacrifice. And so if you look at Rohit Sharma objectively, yes, he should continue to open, which is also what we talked about. But then you are moving a batter spot. The only batter who has consistently performed, you're moving him again. Which, for all the slack that we give KL Rahul, currently it's kind of unfair, especially 3 test matches down the line. But then what do you do? Because Shubman Gill is, of course, not in form. And in this current scenario, he's batting number 5, number 6. And he's, of course, not your number 3. You cannot look at Shubman Gill as your permanent number 3 just because of his technique at the moment. So, right. So, Gill goes to number 5, number 6. KL Rahul at number 3 looks solid. But again, the question is, why would you move the only batter who's performing at a particular spot from that spot to number 3 to consolidate someone who's been out of form for the last couple of series? And the only answer is it's because it's Rohit Sharma, the captain, and you just got to do what you got to do to make sure your captain can perform well with the bat, because that is why he's there in the first place. But yeah, that's scenario 1. That's something interesting to think about. Now, what's scenario 2?
Scenario 2. Cool. So scenario 2 is very similar. You still have Rohit opening the innings. You have KL coming in at 3. But the catch here is, will they drop Gill? Now, I know there have been reports going on around NKR being dropped for Washi, which we'll get into. But say they drop Gill, do they move NKR to number 5 or number 6? 5 or 6, depending on where Pant
plays.
plays.
What the batting lineup might look at with NKR in the score.
So the batting lineup would basically, in this case, be Rohit and Jaiswal open. After that, you have KL at 3, you have Virat at 4, then you have probably Pant at 5, you have NKR at 6, and then you have Washi coming in. You have Jaddu at 7, Washi 8, and then 9, 10, 11 are your fast bowlers. So that's what it'll look like. That scenario 2 will be very interesting to see if Gill gets the axe, especially because you have Virat and Rohit, more so Rohit, who's been horribly out of form, and dropping Gill here just sends the wrong kind of message, because Gill, at least in the last couple of series, has been better than both Rohit as well as Virat. So it'll be very interesting. I don't think Gill is going to get the axe. Let's see what's happening in the chat. We'll get to that as well. But yeah, that's what scenario 2 is.
Now, scenario 3 is, again, something that's almost confirmed with, again, Rohit Sharma opening, KL Rahul at number 3, Gill batting in the middle, NKR being dropped for Washington Sundar and Jadeja. Now, listen, a lot of people are going to talk about how it's unfair for NKR because he's been the most successful batter after KL Rahul for the Indian team. He was the highest scorer after the first 2 test matches. Yes, all of that is correct. But if you're going to play a batter at number 7 or 8, there is a real problem, because you will struggle to pick up 20 wickets, which is what happened in the 3rd test match. We only have 4 bowlers, and then you're looking at NKR trying to bowl more and more. As much as we appreciate him getting bowling experience, and we really think he should, because he has such a good action and he will only flourish, you can't have that in the 4th test match of the Border-Gavaskar Trophy in Australia. And unfortunately, if the scenario 2 doesn't work out, if they don't drop Gill and play NKR at number 5, number 6 in place of Gill, then NKR being axed, unfortunately, makes a lot of sense, just because if you have to play 2 spinners, which in itself is a very interesting
Yeah, we'll get to that
take.
as well.
Yeah, but if they have to play 2 spinners and 3 fast bowlers, you have to drop your number 7, number 8, who's currently a pure batter who can also give you some overs, which is currently Nitish Kumar Reddy, because in the middle you can't really drop anyone apart from Gill. Of course, you're not dropping Virat. Of course, you can't drop Pant. KL Rahul has that spot. Yashasvi Jaiswal is the opener. Rohit Sharma is
the captain.
Is the captain. So it just wouldn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't necessarily make sense to drop NKR after the batting performances, but if you have to fit in these 4-5 bowlers, it's the only option. So let's take this. Let's take this from the stands. A lot of you guys are talking about a lot of things, and let's
get into your.
Yeah, Vasudevan says I could justify picking Washington if he was a little better with the ball, but he's not as of right now.
I kind of agree with that, because I don't think Washi did anything special even in that first test where he did ball. It's a different ball game when you're bowling spin in Australia. Ashwin also had that podcast with Sky Sports, and he spoke at length about how it's so different to ball in Australia. And yeah, honestly, like playing Washi and NKR, I don't see much difference in their bowling strength. Only thing is, for some reason, 2 spinners are being selected.
That's actually an interesting question. So Arvind asked, why is that this thing that we have to play 2 spinners in FCG? Is there some advantage because Australia are not playing 2 spinners? We haven't played 2 spinners.
Yeah, no team except South Africa in the last 6 years has played 2.
No
South
team.
Africa, no team at all.
No team
since
since 2018 has played 2 spinners. So South Africa, in fact, played 4 fast bowlers.
And so there's definitely something they would have seen in the pitch for them to be like, we are playing 2 spinners. Unless it's some ploy to throw Australia off guard, which again makes no sense.
I mean, again, these are reports. We'll only know
these are
the
reports
news tomorrow. But like, if they do all of this, is the question. Vasudevan says Washi should not be looked at as a lone spinner ever. Ever, I don't know. But
At this point,
yeah, it doesn't make sense. I
Yeah.
mean, Jadeja is right there. He's right there. And if he is
Exactly.
not your best spinner in the squad right now, I don't honestly know who is.
we made a Jaddu video also. Go check it out.
Oh yeah, we did make a Jadeja video. Fantastic video made by Pratap. We released it
Yesterday? Tuesday? Yeah.
Tuesday, yeah.
What else? have
Rami
we got?
Reddy Balu, is there any chance to Prasidh in Boxing Day Test match?
Good question. Once again, it will depend on what the team thinks about Siraj. Because I don't see Akashdeep going out. Bumrah
Yeah.
obviously is not going out. In 2 matches at MCG, Bumrah has 15 wickets, averaging 13. So Bumrah doesn't go. Siraj will depend on his workload. He's getting into some sort of rhythm for sure. Having said that, would they want to try Prasidh just because it might bring in a fresh option, fresher legs? Prasidh has height, he'll get more bounce.
Right.
So that's something to look at. Like, honestly, it wouldn't be a bad selection.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Zenith Rao, Gill should be dropped. Perfect playing 11, Gill scoring 30 odd. That will be given by Washington Sundar or NKR, but they will provide 10 overs. I mean, again, objectively,
That
sounds
is
great.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, Virat's done worse than Gill. So why does Gill get the axe when Gill is just 25 years old?
Exactly. Plus, here's the thing, right? One thing that could happen with Gill coming in at 5 or 6 is say that even if the top order bats out the new ball phase, if they bat out 30-40 over, the ball becomes a little softer, little easier to play.
Yeah.
Then maybe it becomes easier for Gill to bat and maybe score some big runs, get him into confidence for the last 2-3 innings that he's going to play. That's one thing that I can think of.
See, if you're talking about Gill getting dropped, the only other, not the argument, the thing is, why aren't we talking about Virat being dropped? Why Gill? Like, Gill's 25. You would change Gill's batting position just because he's only 25. So if it's easier for him to bat number 5, number 6, you would go that far. Like, in a scenario. You wouldn't do that with Virat because he's batted number 4 almost his entire career. You wouldn't move him for someone who's coming to the end of his career to have a backing, like to soften his batting position, if that makes any sense. Right, guys, stop this. Gill is not being dropped.
Yeah, probably.
Vasu, you never know. Tomorrow, I mean, we don't think so, but just imagine. What do you think Gill's best batting position to bat at now and possible for the future? Maybe number 5, number 4.
Might be, honestly.
Number 5, yeah. Number 4 is, yeah.
He's not looked convincing enough playing the newish ball.
True.
And there is some technical flaw as well. So if he can't rectify that, then he's probably better off in the middle order. So
Yeah, true. Hey Srikanth, hey, hi. This is very interesting. Eh? Can Jaiswal bat at number 3? You wouldn't want Jaiswal to bat at number 3, but because again, you wouldn't want Gill to bat at number 3 just because of how naturally attacking they are as batters. And your number 3 usually in a test squad is someone who grinds bowlers. And Jaiswal, you need Jaiswal to open. He's been an opener his entire life. And he's just a solid, pure opener. But there was a question, and I forgot who asked the question. Why can't Rohit bat number 3?
that is interesting. I think, I mean, at this point, it's just that Rohit would rather fail opening the innings than at 3. Because then from 3, he'll be like, okay, maybe I'll open.
Yeah.
So it just saves you one extra experiment.
Yeah, if you think about it, like, okay, let's cut some slack for the Indian cricket team. Let's just say that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
KL Rahul is the perfect number 3 because of the style of play. He's doing exactly what Pujara is doing. He's grinding the bowlers. He's taking the most number of balls, scoring the most number of runs, and has been the most successful batter in this tour because of that.
Yeah.
And so if he is batting at number 3, he is basically doing the job Pujara used to do.
Fair.
And for all the talk about how we need a Pujara in a middle order or in a top order, KL Rahul would be doing that.
In
So
some
would
sense,
would that be okay for him to bat number 3 and for Rohit Sharma to open?
I think a lot of how tomorrow is going to go is going to depend on if Rohit gets any runs.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's going to determine so many things. We might not see Rohit even open in the second innings. After that, we might just see him like hang up his boots.
Srikanth, BS. I mean, we are better without Gill at number 3 and have KL who's better suitable. We can have Jurel or Sarfaraz in number 6. That is true, but I don't think as much as it'll be great.
It'll be great, but don't see them walking in.
Hey, so
Will
may
you
I
guys-
ask, will you guys be waking at number 5 or waking at 5 o'clock? Number 5 at 5 o'clock. Yes, we will. In fact, on our live at 1:30,
Depends,
I think 1:30. Usually at 1:30 unless the day ends early. At 1:30 we will have a morning recap. So for those of you folks who have better things to do in life and not wake up at 5 o'clock,
Like sleep.
yeah, like sleep and like work or whatever, we will have a morning recap where we do talk about what happened in the first 2 hours in the morning, and then it becomes 7 o'clock, and people do wake up after that. So yeah, we will have that. Okay, Vinay, why not drop punt and bring Jurel into the team?
I think it's too early to think of dropping Pant, especially because of what he's already
Yeah.
done in Australia. You can't drop Pant
I feel
that
like
easily.
yeah, this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
What is that called?
Recency bias.
right?
Yeah.
Punt has been the most successful batter even after the injury scare that he had for the Indian team.
Yeah.
And so it's only this one series. It's only 3 test matches. And you
Yeah.
can't drop him.
Yeah, like Pant is always going to be ahead in the
Yeah.
pecking order unless he has like 3, 4, 5 bad series.
Yeah.
That's when there will be some
Exactly.
conversation.
So that's the word. Like 3-4 bat series and
Yeah.
not just matches.
Yeah.
Arvind, alright. Can Tanush be replacement for Ashwin? So there was another question. What do you think of Tanush Kotian in Sydney or like in MCG? What do you think of Tanush Kotian in Australia?
Right.
Pratap has opinions on this. But keep in mind that we don't know how Tanush Kotian has changed or bowled after the Australia-India game.
Right.
But as of what we have seen, what do you think of Kotian in Australia?
Cool. So here's the thing, right? Kotian, he's had 2 good domestic seasons with bat as well as ball.
Player of the tournament, I want to say. In Ranji
Player of the
Trophy last
tournament. Yeah. Also, apart from that, he did tour Australia for that India-Australia series. Played 1 game, I
year.
think.
Played
After
one
that,
game,
got dropped.
picked up 1 wicket,
Yeah.
had an economy of 4 in both innings.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And some people will say he was a bit unlucky with the whole Marcus Harris dismissal and everything. But here's my observation on Tanush Kotian, and that's his bowling action and the
This is
amount
before the Australia-India
yeah,
game.
before. I mean, even in
Oh,
that
even
game
during-
itself.
fair.
Yeah. He's not putting enough body into his action.
What does that mean, Pratik?
And that means that he's not making enough use of, say, the pivot or the hip drive. And basically, what that does is it does not let him get the most out of the pitch. And it's required in a place like Australia because there's already very limited stuff for the spinners.
Right.
At SCG, it will be interesting because traditionally India have always played 2 spinners at SCG. That pitch might aid him more. As a batter, he's played a few interesting knocks. He's come in at
Yeah,
the end
he
of
bats
innings,
pretty well, yeah.
bats pretty well. But again, that's domestic cricket. International is a completely different ball game. And so I don't know if India will be ready to straight away put him into this fire if he's prepared enough for that. So for test, I'll be very, very surprised if Kotian plays ahead of Sundar because Jaddu is not going anywhere for both test
Yeah.
matches. Yeah, honestly, I'll just be surprised if Kotian gets a
But an
test match.
interesting question. So, like,
Yeah.
it's a question that normally I would hope you guys wanted answered just because it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
So, you know that traditionally in Australia, you don't get a lot of spin. Now, Ashwin spoke about this in that Sky Cricket podcast. You guys should watch that if you guys haven't. by
It's
the
pretty
way.
good. Yeah.
But yeah, so traditionally you don't get a lot of spin. So why is it important for a spinner to put in a lot of body, even if the ball's not going to spin? Like, what does a lot of body mean, and what does that happen? Like, what does the ball do if you
Yeah.
put in a lot more body?
Okay, so couple of things, right? In India, when you play, the pitch already assists the spinners.
Right.
And so a lot of spinners would just come and ball without using too much of their body. Now, what I mean by that is maybe they might not give the ball enough revs. Or maybe they might not put enough into the ball such that it can do things like
there's
dip,
dip,
or
flight, drift.
flight. Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into the picture. All of this comes with more revs, which you get if you put more body into the ball itself.
Right.
Why this is necessary in Australia is because you aren't going to have simple wickets that just spin and get the batsman out, and so you're going to have to outfox the batsman in the air, make them play the wrong line. You could have something like a bowler bowling on off stump with the ball slightly drifting away, getting the outside edge. You'll also see Ashwin's bowling in the 2021 series. It's an absolute master class on how to bowl off spin, and yeah, that's what it is. I don't think Tanush Kotian is there.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have had some technical changes based in this 1 month, hopefully. I'm sure he would have learnt a lot, but is it too early to drop him straight into the test squad? I think so.
I think that drop Jaiswal, get Rohit up to open and get a spinner in. I've seen a lot of comments about how we should drop Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Someone even said Jaiswal at 6.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
First of all, Jaiswal is a pure opener. You do not want him to move in, especially because he's a kid. And second, this might be in India. I don't really care. But he is the highest run scorer for the Indian team in this season, in this test cycle by far. He's the only batter to score consistent runs. Now the argument can be he hasn't scored in Sena. Tell me which batter in our team has scored in Sena the second they stepped into
And Jaiswal's
Sena.
got 160 in the first test match.
So I mean, Virat struggled in England. KL Rahul struggled in Australia. Rohit struggled for 10 years in his test career. A lot of these batters will struggle. You cannot expect Jaiswal to step into South Africa or Australia in his first tour and just give you scores.
Yeah,
Except he did that in the first test match.
exactly. Yeah.
So, if anything,
He's a quick learner.
yeah, Jaiswal should just continue. Of course, there are times it's frustrating because of how he gets out. Because more often than not, it's almost as if he is getting himself out. But it's just something you learn over time.
What does Dhruv say?
True. Australia is playing for so bad, but India is somehow making Australia feel deadly.
Yeah, Australia is definitely not turned up with their A game. And it's not that Australia has played bad test matches. They've just played bad sessions of
Yes,
cricket.
true.
Very similar to what India did in England 2018 and ended up losing 4-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Australia are still just getting better and better through each game of cricket. It'll be interesting that they've had changes because Ashwin, are you fine?
Yes.
Because Scott Boland now comes in. He's had a magnificent record here. But yeah, India is playing bad. Australia is playing better than India.
Right. Devajit Roy. Vasudevan said, I think he said that Jaiswal is not getting dropped. Agreed, but I'm very against changing KL's position. He's looking best. If Rohit's going to open, KL position is not good. Jaiswal is a better hitter than Gill, but you wouldn't want a hitter at number 3 or number 6.
Honestly, you don't need a hitter in Test cricket.
Hey, detective. Hello, new here. Hey, guy. So if you're new, we have had a lot of segments. We've come this far where we do talk to you guys. Screen stuck.
Oh, that's my camera.
Oh, it didn't make any sound. Interesting. Yes, Vino's screen is stuck. Now it will be unstuck.
Thanks, guys.
Right. Vignesh says Stark is only deadly in pink ball, guys, and I think he's also a weakling as he only swings the ball only 3 overs. What do you think? Oh, that's
Cool.
Very extreme. But it's
Extremely harsh, but it's a decent take.
because he can have horrible sessions.
Yeah. But I will say that this is the most consistent Stark has looked in any Border-Gavaskar Trophy that I've seen him ball.
True.
He's not been spraying it around. He's been very consistent with his lines and lengths. And yeah, I think Stark's a much better bowler now.
Shrikant asked a very interesting question. Now I want to know what his question is, but I don't know where he asked the question. Vasudevan said Clark spoke about this, and I want to know what the question is. So Shrikant, if you can ask the question again, it'll be great.
Or
Detective,
if one of you can, yeah.
भाइयों आपके लाइव स्ट्रीम में कमेंट स्क्रीन पे नहीं आते हैं क्या? Oh no, unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, but that I think it's
I mean, laptop screen par.
Velocity. Guys, I love all your analysis videos. You make super valid points, unlike usual critics. Hey, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Another century for Head.
Let's hope not. But if it does, then we hope that 2 Indians get centuries.
Dude, Shrikant, if you're there, I want to know what your question is. The fact that Vasu replied to you, should India play 4 seamers? Asks Abhinav.
Ideally, yes, or at least 3 seamers and NKR, but it seems like there's something in the pitch which makes India want to play 2 spinners, so I don't think that's going to happen.
Vasu, right. Shrikant's question. Talking about Aussies, why was Khwaja dropped, not McSweeney? Khwaja was worse than McSweeney, and 2 fresh openers would be best choice for Aussies. Yes, Clark did talk about this. He was very, very passionate about this.
Yeah.
His podcast is very interesting, by the way. You guys should check it out. There's a lot of times, like a lot of us, including us, he talks about a lot of things which don't necessarily make sense. But this did make sense. Where, yeah, you're right. Like, why is McSweeney getting dropped? Right. So there's a lot of things to it. McSweeney is not a natural opener. But they selected him to open, and you only give him 3 test matches, which is very, very unfair. But in Australia, there's always a tradition where once you're in the squad, sooner or later you're going to get dropped again. Like, regardless. If you're going to have 2-3 bad performances, you're going to be dropped. And that's how they assess you if you are worth enough to make a comeback after scoring a lot more runs. It's completely unfair. Khwaja is not dropped because Root Root bol raha hu. Khwaja is not dropped for the same reason that Rohit is not dropped, for the same reason that Virat is not dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they all are in the same space, but
But-
Khwaja has been successful in the last couple of seasons, so you wouldn't drop him, you would give him time. Whereas a youngster who has not opened, you would drop him hoping that he can make a comeback. The select George Bailey did say that McSweeney is not out of it, he just needs a little more experience. And yeah, it's a double-edged sword because you're bringing in a 19-year-old.
But yeah, like this is the tradition of Australia.
Yeah.
All great players have been dropped, and not just once, multiple times.
True.
So yeah.
Jishnu, play two spinners, bat first, drop Gill, play Rohit number 3 or opening. Is this good strategy?
Playing two spinners, I'm still very hell-bent on trying to understand why India wants to play two spinners. We know Australia isn't. There has to be something crazy about the pitch for India to want to play two spinners.
True.
Or maybe the reports are just incredibly false. Like,
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Anmol, do you think India may miss the service of our Ashwin on a big stage like Boxing Day at MCG, considering Ashwin had a psychological advantage over Australians?
I think India have missed the services of Ashwin ever since the first test match.
Oh, yeah.
Irrespective of the kind of form he was in that New Zealand series, just the experience he would have brought into this test series
Yes.
should have been enough to just blindly pick Ashwin or at least Jadeja from the start, which India didn't do. So that's already a blunder, and it probably has cost India Ashwin in terms of his retirement, but that's all up for speculation.
Pankaj, can Virat Kohli still surpass Sachin Tendulkar in Test cricket?
That's
Absolutely
not happening. And in ODIs, I mean, in centuries he has. In runs, it's going to take a while. Yeah.
Still a while to go.
Yeah.
Srikanth, McSweeney was in a crease a lot more than Khwaja, so the call was unfair. Really, McSweeney has to face one of the best attacks in the world, so that's unfair
That
for
is true.
McSweeney. Yeah, that's completely true. Like that's the thing. It's unfair, and George Bailey did say it was a tough decision. It kind of does not even make sense because, like you said, Khwaja is not really scoring runs.
Yeah.
They would have seen something. Like, I don't know. If it was the Indian cricket team, we would have already made some 5 reels about it. A live about it, or YouTube video about it.
100%.
I don't understand. Hilton, do you think a Mukesh on form or a left-hand pacer should have been in the squad? Who would you have had? Thanks. Just to clarify, I mean, I know you're asking like an imaginary scenario, so you answer that. But just to let you guys know that Mukesh Kumar and Harsh Patel,
Harshdeep Singh.
no, Mukesh
Yash Dayal.
Kumar and Yash Dayal have come back to India to play Vijay Hazare, so they're all back in India. So there is no Mukesh Kumar or a left-arm pacer in the Indian team right now. Go on.
Ideal scenario, Mukesh Kumar might have been a good addition because he is a good extractor of nipping the ball and seaming it. And so he would have been a good pick. For left-arm pacers, it's always an interesting variety to have. But do we have a left-arm pacer that's good enough to play red ball in Australia? It's up for debate. I do think Arshdeep and Yash Dayal have both done well in the past season.
Yes.
So again, you'll never know until you actually pick them and make them play test cricket.
We'll take a couple more questions before we end this. We don't want this to be a very long stuff because we will do this every day of the test match. Post day, around 12, around 1:30 is what I want to say. Zenith maybe 40 not out playing in GG and Rohit's mind. They might have thought Australia will bowl for sure. Better we bat. Hope we don't see football scorecard. They wanted Khwaja in Sri Lanka. A lot of things.
A lot of things that went over our head. What is Anirudh saying?
Anirudh, 4 pure fast bowlers or 3 pacers plus NKR?
Merry Christmas, boys.
Oh, Merry Christmas, boys. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you
Merry
too.
Christmas, guys. Yeah, honestly, for me, I would say 3 pacers, 1 NKR, 1 spinner. But clearly, there's something there which makes them want to play 2 spinners. Historically, it should be 3 pacers, 1 fast bowling all-rounder, 1 spinner.
True. Devajit, in number 6, Jaiswal might play like Travis had innings. We saw this happen with Murli Vijay and Mayank. Ball is not moving after 30 overs. That's why I was thinking this way. Which is again fair. Like they tried this with Mayank and Murli Vijay and it also didn't last very long.
Yeah. For Mayank, it was also a case that
both of them actually.
Yeah, they wanted to protect them from the new ball. So
and I don't think Jaiswal needs that. See, like it makes sense. What are you saying? We are not being condescending or arrogant about this. We are no one to be arrogant about this, to be fair. But You wouldn't want to move Yashasvi Jaiswal because he is going to be your opener for the next couple of years. He's always open. You want him as your opener.
Yeah.
If KL Rahul and Rohit open, you're again looking at a next opener. Like who's your next opener in the next WTC cycle, and you're doing all of that. Yashasvi Jaiswal has established himself. He's the opener in all formats. He opens in the IPL. Dev Dutt couldn't open in the IPL because you had Yashasvi Jaiswal open for Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah.
Jaiswal, I hope they don't move him as much as, I mean, you're right, number 6 might be the greatest. Number 6 might be Sachin's opening in ODI.
Yeah.
In a world where this might work, I just hope, or I'm sure we hope, that Jaiswal continues to open. Srikanth, Harshdeep does not have the pace to play in red ball. That's harsh.
An interesting take. I would like to know if that's based on observing him in certain spells where he loses pace.
Right.
Is it a stamina thing? Because he does play county cricket as well. He's done a fair bit of bowling there.
True.
So that is a bold claim.
Pankaj, who's got the best defense in current Indian cricket team?
It's probably KL Rahul.
100%. Yeah. Yashwant. Bro, why the volume is so low?
For me?
Can you
for him?
boost it up? Is the volume really that low? Because I scream half the time, and for Pratip, we haven't even decreased the... Let us know if the volume is actually this low. Right. Vishal. Will Rohit get back at top with Jaiswal and Washi switching places or KL Rahul dropping down? I don't want KL Rahul dropping down. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants KL Rahul dropping down.
Yeah.
But again, it's the thing where if you look at it objectively, a lot of people wanted Pujara in the squad because of what Pujara can do. KL Rahul might just do that at number 3 and he might be successful.
Time will tell.
Yeah, but then the problem is once the WTC cycle ends, who's going to open? Again, so KL Rahul opens again. But yeah, that's something.
Or that makes place for Ishwaran. Let's see.
Interesting. Vasudevan, Shami is not playing.
Yeah, Shami has been ruled out.
Oh yeah, so Hilton asked what's the situation of Shami at the moment? Is he available or is it precautionary?
No. He's not available. He's not fit. I mean, the BCCI put out a report that he's not going to be fit for the rest of the BGT. So yeah.
Right. Rajat, is any chance of Rahane to return in ODI test anytime soon? Seeing him scoring in SMAT, it's interesting how his SMAT scores, which is a T20 format, is a result for him to get selected in a longer format and the longest format.
That's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
that's just something to think about. Vasudevan, make a guess. Who wins? Call now. I think India wins. I think India wins at MCG.
Interesting.
We'll clip this if India does win or lose. But yeah, who do you think? I think India wins because
Can I give conditions to this? If this, then India wins. If not,
it's
India's
our
not
life.
gonna-
Go ahead, give conditions.
Ooh. I think one of Rohit or Kohli have to score big. Otherwise, it's going to be a tight game.
Wow. Srikanth will take. So this is going to be the last question until we move ahead. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, Srikanth, is it just me or Pant's trigger movement has changed post accident, as I believe it was a different before accident?
Interesting.
I don't think I've observed that. His trigger movement has changed. I don't know if that's pre or post accident because I've noticed him doing the same thing even before the accident. But
We can look into the footage.
but something to think about is, again, something to observe is the Australians have been very vocal about how they want to make Pant play with a straight bat. The second Pant is playing with a straight bat, you know you're going to get him out, is what they think. And so Pant needs to find a way to counter that because he can't always play the cross-batted shots. He needs to be able to play straight bat. Okay, last question. Pratap Vaibhav Jain, do you think India should experiment with more fast bowlers in tests like Harshdeep or even spinners like Kuldeep or Chahal despite their great performances? We should have options and not be too dependent.
Right.
Kuldeep is unavailable because of injury.
Kuldeep. A lot of people were in the comments were talking about Akshar Patel not being picked. He is also unavailable because he
Became a father.
became a father, so he's not there. Kuldeep too is injured. Coming to options, yes, you want to try out multiple options, but you also need to settle on a pace attack because you can't keep rotating and expecting all bowlers to have rhythm if they're going to be dropped every second or third test match. So a bench strength or a nice pool is good to have, but you want to play your 3-4 main fast bowlers all the time.
What a good answer. Kabilan, cricket by... Oh, that's us. Being a silent follower for so long. Keep up the good work, analysis. Love your content. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. And we shall move on to the next segment, which I don't think we made it a segment, or it's just one
Just
transition.
the end. Yeah.
Right. Which team has an edge tomorrow in tomorrow's test? I feel like wow, Rathib's camera, my god. Either is dead, which I think is the case. Yeah, it's dead. Now you can only see me, boys and girls. Which is so unfortunate. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, wait. Yeah. I need you guys to stay with me. Oh god, I'm panicking, Prathib. Oh yeah. Okay, so I forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, it'll totally depend on the squad because of so many conversations going on about who's opening and who's not. Right, you can now see me. This is great. You can't see Prathip.
Can we open batting with Boomer?
I mean, we could possibly open
Honestly,
batting with Bumrah. Wouldn't.
Boomer and Akashdeep have done better than some of our batters.
Yeah, that's true. But yes, you can only see me now. So whoever has the edge tomorrow will depend on India's squad and what India decides to do. It's been great. Yes, Zenith Rathib's camera's battery died, which is quite surprising because we just changed it. It was fully charged. But yeah, always the late and girls. Yeah, because I don't want to be discriminative. But then I realize I only say boys because it's a cricket thing. Like I just played a cricket match today and I came from there and all you say is come on boys. So it's that. It's only that, I promise. But yes, thank you guys so much for joining us on our live pre-match of the 4-test match. It will be very interesting. Prathip will have full charge on his camera tomorrow. We will do this successfully without any problems. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We love doing this with you guys, especially when you guys interact and have conversation amongst yourself, which is great. Vignesh, what's your squad? Our ideal squad would be... Actually, I don't know. If they have to drop Gill, then drop Gill and play NKR at number 5, number 6. Jaddu, Washington Sundar.
That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not our squad. It's something they might do, but what would we do while they are doing what they are doing?
We would not play two spinners unless the pitch is like cracked.
That's true. Okay, so there was a couple of recommendation of books. I've not read this book, but if you guys are interested in this book, Indian Cricket Then and Now. But there are a couple of books that I think you guys should absolutely read. One is Michael Hussey's autobiography. It's exceptional. Like if you read Michael Hussey's autobiography, you'll realize how nervous of a player he was, how tentative he was. He was not the most confident player. And for someone like him to debut for Australia later on in his career, it's an exceptional book to read. Another book recommendation that I will give is Michael Clarke's book. It's very interesting to know how he transitioned from this flamboyant player to a captain. His relationships with a lot of players, especially Andrew Simons, and how that fell apart in the end. His relationship with Phil Hughes' death and how he saw the sport differently after that, and how he realized him wearing more protective gear just made him more scared about the game, just playing the game, wasn't confident anymore. Yeah, these two recommendations just because the Border-Gavaskar Trophy is going on, and I just thought I'd shout out two Australian books. Can you share the links in the community post for the books? Yeah, so we'll do that. We'll post the books, either ebooks or the book itself. The books I think are a little expensive, so we'll find the Kindle version, put it there. But yeah, we'll always have recommendations, if not for books, for something. Documentary, something we watched on cricket. We will try to end our lives with this recommendation of more cricket stuff. Yes, a lot of you guys waking up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. It's great to see. See you guys tomorrow. You'll see more of Prathip tomorrow when his camera's not dead. Hopefully it's a great day of test match. Hopefully it's a great day of test match. Hopefully there's a lot of things positives to talk about for the Indian team, and it's not as if we're searching for positives. So yes, thank you so much for watching. It's been a great life, and we shall see tomorrow. Bye-bye.